Hi
Hi
guys! Welcome again to our vlog, and today we're going to be standing in this windy area, but today we're going to take you to Earth Illuminated.
Yeah, so we're here and I don't know, do you want to tell them the secret about this place?
Well, it's not a very hidden secret.
No. We actually own this attraction here on International Drive at the Point Orlando. We've been here for a little over 4 months, barely. And we've been just kind of getting the foot in the door. So this is brand new, and it's a very short-term production because we've actually been evolving it,
Yep.
and have actually quickly realized that this is bigger than just an attraction. So in the coming months, you may see us talk about how we transform and change this attraction and story into more of an online thing.
Yep.
So this is an opportunity for us to document it. That's kind of what this video is, but it's also a way for us to show you guys what it is and welcome you in with us.
And give you some of the backstage kind of information that people who don't normally get to come and see, and give you some of the backstage information for people who don't get to come in and walk it with us. They don't normally get the details and maybe some of the little insider details that are fun and hidden pieces. So
we'll get to give you a tour as it is, and then at the end we might talk a little bit about what's becoming. And yeah, we're excited to take you along with us. So join us. Here we go. Come on in.
Thank you.
Olay. So this is our wonderful team member, Abigail. Say hi, Abigail. And she's pretty amazing. One of like our team leads, amazing.
Yep.
She helps keep us grounded.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Sometimes more grounded than we know we need.
Yes. So we're gonna mosey in. Since we own the attraction, we don't need tickets, but this would be where you get tickets and kind of do the whole process of checking in. It's pretty fun. And then we also have a great non-alcoholic bar here with like a bunch of drinks like Mountain Dew, Pepsi, and like some boba teas and stuff like that. So this is a great place to come if you're looking for a place with cold drinks. We are great for that. But in the meantime, I'm gonna actually go get our pre-show ready to go, and I'll come get you guys here in a moment. And we're gonna take you on a journey. So Heidi, I don't know if you want to give a backstory as to like what's going on.
Sounds good. All right, while Madeline gets that ready for us, I am going to kind of give you a little bit of our backstory here. Earth Illuminated is an artful creation designed by our family, my husband Nate, our daughter Mercedes, and our daughter Madeline, and myself. Over the years, we have worked on developing a story with our artwork because it's important to give more than just something to look at, but an actual reason and a personal journey and a transformational experience for our guests. So, the story that we have now is a sci-fi story. And you're going to go see where you are going to get on Starship Regenesis, and you're going to follow the footsteps of our astronaut named Scout. Scout is a person that left an old world that was not doing well. It had been mistreated, and the people themselves were mistreating each other. And so Scout had found some old texts saying that there was a new Earth available for them to come see. And so the journey that we go on is following his footsteps when he goes onto his shuttle, his ship, and then leads us through the journey of rediscovering the new Earth. We say rediscovering because our Earth here is beautiful, but we tend to have we'd say rediscovering our Earth here because we have a tendency to just look through things through the internet, through YouTube, through our different social media platforms, but not actually look at the Earth itself necessarily. And we want to reintroduce the Earth through a technological and artful way that encourages and hopefully changes and transforms your idea of how to see the Earth through the device that we use called our phone and how you see yourself. So let's go start that journey with Madeline.
Hi guys, alright, so I have the Starship ready to go, so I'm going to have it enter in on the right and face one of our two screens. This is our pre-show. We've video mapped this entirely ourselves. And I'm going to go ahead and push play.
Welcome, viewers, to an extraordinary journey aboard Starship Regenesis. Prepare yourselves as we embark on Mission Liftoff, a quest for hope and a new space one of the Starship viewports in front of you. We are about to launch from Starbase. You are now aboard Starship Genesis, sailing through the cosmos on this historic mission. We follow the path of Starship Novatera, the brave pioneer who carried the first viewer on his mission to discover Earth. Humanity's old world was shrouded in darkness, with evil prevailing and the sun's light dimmed. The Novatera mission symbolized our last glimmer of hope, our final chance at survival. For a while, we feared our mission had failed until a beacon of hope reached us. A new transmission, a flicker of life from Earth. After recovering the lost starship Novatera, we have begun bringing humanity home. Along your journey, look for journal entries from our guide, the first viewer, as he recounts his original experience recorded on Starship Novatera. Follow in his footsteps and let his words be your compass. Viewers, it is now time for you to experience the Earth Illuminated in a whole new light. The door is now open towards you. Please follow the green arrows. Enjoy the adventure, viewers.
All right, so from here on out, this is a self-guided adventure. Our original intent with this was just to put some beautiful art on display that we've been accumulating over the last, 10, 15 years. And in that process, we actually started developing a story. And so as you step in here, you actually are going to see the beginning essence of what our story originated from, which was not only our art pieces, but this quote behind me. So here, this quote, if you could see the earth illuminated when you were in a place as dark as night, it would seem to you more splendid than the moon. For us, we were traveling, and we travel a lot, and that's like one of my favorite things to do as part of the family. And we actually discovered this quote while we were traveling to the Space Center down in Texas. And it was one of those like hidden little quotes down at the bottom of something behind a wall, that kind of thing. Most people walked by it, didn't even know it was there. And for us, it really stood out. And since we're believers, we feel like God was providing us a place to like see that and guide us into a direction that actually had more meaning and purpose behind what we were doing than we even realized. So we took that quote, we held it in our back pocket, we moved out here to Orlando, and in the process of developing, that quote really just ended up guiding us on this journey. And then on top of that quote, we actually had a song. And that song was called Comet by the Midnight. It was an extra bonus feature song that they had. It wasn't on any of their live stuff, anything. It was just on the extra part of their album. And we listened to it. And my dad, Nate, he actually listened to it with the intent of listening to the lyrics as though it was God's voice talking to you. And how this whole story of the song is just how they wish they could go back in time because then they wouldn't be hurt and all that stuff. But then at the end of the day, that means that they wouldn't probably have met each other because without all that history and that hurt and that the intention of what that story and journey is, they wouldn't have been able to know each other. So for us, we feel the same way about God. Like if we didn't go through that journey, we wouldn't have the relationship we have with God. And for us, that applied here because our goal here, as we started unveiling all these different pieces and stuff, we actually realized that our goal was to tell that story in our own way, using nature as a guide for how to grow again, even in the pain, the beauty, the darkness. And so that was our original intent. The magic that's coming from that story is actually going to grow beyond what this attraction is. And I'll kind of tell you more about that as we go through. But if you guys come with me this way, we've officially landed here in Earth. And this is your first glimpse into Earth. And we wanted to give you guys a tangible perspective of like what it looks like to look out at Earth from space. We always look out to space, and we never get to reflect on ourselves here at Earth. So that was our goal with this little scene here. And one of my favorite parts is you can actually go up and touch it, move it around. We've had a bunch of people come through and actually like point where they live and hug it and just, there's a certain magic about the earth, and this was our way to remind you of that magic. And then you get to go down into the clouds on a journey.
So one thing that I wanted to make sure that we always represented was how small and fragile our Earth is. And so it's kind of like a marble floating in space. So this is why it's like everybody can come and hug it. We live on it, it's big, but it's not huge.
Okay, so after you've kind of been introduced to the Earth, we wanted to take you on a journey through the atmosphere, down into the ground, under the grass, blades, larger than life bugs, and then after that, kind of reconnect you with humanity. So that's the journey you actually get to follow after you've been introduced to the Earth. And so we do that through theatrical scenes and sets that were all done with old theatrical techniques, using practical effects, practical visuals, that you can actually see in real life without the use of technology. We wanted this to be very inclusive as far as disabilities and accessibilities for people, because we're very sensitive to that as artists. We go to attractions and theme parks all the time. And one of the things that I know that my family specifically prides ourselves on is being understanding and welcoming to all of the different types of people that come through. But we do that specifically for disabilities. So each one of our scenes here, you'll notice, is actually meant to be able to have a wheelchair. We also have wide enough pathways. We don't have flashing strobing lights, because we really wanted people to just feel peaceful in here and honestly reconnect. This is a transformation that's happening. We're literally just transporting you through different elements of Earth. And so we're starting here at the cloud scene. We thought that, when we were originally creating this scene, we actually were in the middle of 2020 and everybody was like crazy and everybody knows how 2020 went down. But we considered it more of a storm of life, right? We figured that you can stand powerful even in the midst of a storm, which means that even in the storms of life, whatever it may throw at you, you can stand and be who you are. And so we wanted to emphasize that here in this Earth Illuminated scene. So you'll see we have our main blue chair scene, dramatic clouds, a sunset peeking through.
Well, and Madeline, as we're moving forward, would you like to show them how we set it up for photographers? Because that's the other thing, is we know our market, our demographic is people coming in who would like to have some beautiful photographs of themselves. So we have key light on the faces for where you sit in the chairs.
Key lighting,
but then you have this huge cloud. And I'm going to actually back way up because the scene is all encompassing. It is really huge and it's beautiful.
It's probably like 20 feet.
Oh, yeah. Well, at least 15.
Or 15. I'm 5. I'm 5'2".
And the cloud just
and
eats
you could probably
you up.
fit 3 or 4 of me on top of each other to get to the height.
Yeah. So we're excited because our art form, is reusing items or making things reusable or taking things that people would normally discard or not see as art and turn it into art. And so, it's amazing how much you can do with a bird's nest or bird's net and a bunch of stuffing. And then this chair is one of my favorite pieces. It's from India. And when we designed this scene, I was like, it's got to have this beautiful blue chair. So we're coming over here to Madeline, and she is in our picture frame because she is perfect as a picture.
Perfect picture. Yeah. And then over here is one of my favorite scenes because I actually got to be part of the design team on it. This is called The Light Within, and it actually extends all the way up here and goes over to our neon signs. And it started with this wall right behind me with this umbrella. We were trying to fill in a gap when we were in Denver, Colorado, and so everybody asked me, what would you put in this place? And I went, well, it's a rain, it's a storm. What if we did an umbrella and wherever you are, there's light and color? And so our artist team came together, helped me design it with each other, and it's kind of what we came up with. And then my dad extended the scene when we moved here to Orlando, and now we have multiple umbrellas, a bunch of raindrops, and a neon sign. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. I think it's super cute, and it tells a bit of the story.
Show us how you pose with it.
Oh, yeah, you kind of come up here and just go like, wee!
I gotta see the cute little wee. I love that.
Yeah, and then the last thing I forgot to mention is one of the new additions we added a couple months ago was these wonderful signs. So we have like a did you know here, but each one of the other signs that you'll find in here are actually part of the story that we originally wrote for this attraction when we moved it here to Orlando. The difference, though, is that story has evolved. And so in doing that, we've actually found a new avenue of the story and where it's going. And so here you'll be able to read the original version of the story. But as we've developed it, the new one is going to slowly become the next phase of this attraction. So we'll kind of keep going. Whenever you're here, I highly recommend reading them because they are very detailed and they tell a bit of the story that we originally intended. And, you know, some of it is still accurate to what our story is going to become. But I think a lot of this we were trying to do here is kind of mix what we were writing with the real attraction. And we're slowly coming to realize that, you know, the writing and the story element is probably going to be more where we end up heading.
So one really cool thing about these story elements here is when we were in our original location in Denver, Colorado, we actually had QR codes around that had a video or voiceover playing, kind of like I Was Mother Earth. And Madeline coordinated and directed all of that. And that was like the pre-story story way back in the day, talking about each art piece and what it was inspired by. Because each art piece in itself has its own inspiration, like Madeline was explaining with the raindrops and stuff. And then as time went on, the story that we're telling as a whole came together. And so it's really cool to see this because I know what the inspiration is of each art piece, and it's neat to see how that becomes part of the inspiration for the next level of story that's coming on. So we're going to move on. This one I think is really cool. What I like about it is there's never the same picture twice in this one. So, and that little chair over there, guys, is a vintage chair that everybody thought I was nuts getting. We're going to go take a look at it. I like it, and I thought it was cool for this.
So one of my favorite parts about this scene, though, besides this chair that's super cool and unique, is the fact that we're using an old theatrical technique with different colored lighting to make you visually see something that is always there. So, for example, in certain lights you see the actual colors of the painting, but in others you have those darker hues coming out. You have the variety of color schemes, and that is all just a play with your light and paint. There's nothing else. There's no projection, there's nothing. It's just simple. And those are techniques that are being lost right now. So we were getting a chance to actually showcase that. But the cool part about it is it also plays into our story. So we're going to transform from our sunset into our moon bow. Now, this is a real natural phenomenon that happens called moon bows. And at night, when you get a glint, there actually is a little rainbow in there. And we decided to play on that with our moon bow section here, where it's actually using the perfect ratio, which is a mathematical equation you can find in nature, to actually paint the lines that you can notice are not all even, but they're satisfying to look at. It's a perfect golden ratio, which is pretty cool. And then this chair is also my mom's favorite, one of them. Big, orange, and beautiful.
I love the orange chair. I also love the fact that it is a unique setup here because what people don't understand is that, like Madeline was saying, is this is a natural phenomenon that happens. And it is something, if you're not paying attention at night, you'll miss. But I also love the fact that it has a lot of that 1980s and 70s feel to it.
Yeah, for sure.
With a modern twist for this day and age. And I really, really love this art piece.
So if you come this way, we're going to come around the corner. We had to do a refurbishment technically a couple months ago. That's why we have only been open for a few months. And so our original story had a whole bunch more space, but we're going to just kind of welcome you home. So officially you're out of the atmosphere and you're transitioning into the garden, the land area of which you actually stand. But we're doing it in such a way where you're actually smaller than above. So come with me. In here is our garden scene, and it's a variety of scenes, all inspired by different aspects of gardens. So we have something like the lion chair throne, which was made in India and sent out to us. We have like all the gold accents and pieces complementing each other. So you're the king of the jungle. And then we have our ladybug area, which is a wonderful scene. These ladybugs were made out of old kitchen light fixtures. They were spray painted and put some new lights in them, and they're really cute. And then we have our little greenery. And then on this side over here, you'll notice we actually have our, what I would consider the real garden, larger than life grass blades. And you can find some butterflies, praying mantises, and those kinds of things hidden inside, which were all done. Now, these are all made out of reclaimed steel and recyclable plastic. So that's part of the journey and the story we were telling originally back when we designed it, was how to be more sustainable, while also telling a cool story and using things that people wouldn't normally think to use. And all of this is made out of steel and metal beams that we actually pulled out of salvage yards, reclaimable steel yards, those kinds of things. And we were able to do that. Oh, look above me. Look at that. This is our dragonfly, and she was designed off of a real dragonfly that unfortunately died in my arms as a young child that we kept. And we were able to model line for line for an accurate representation of a dragonfly. So then behind mom, we'll actually see our beautiful gazebo. I love Princess and the Frog. And so that whole aesthetic of the movie is just this beautiful, romantic, fireflies like atmosphere. And that's really what we went for here. So this gazebo, my mom and I originally designed it in Denver, Colorado, but then my sister and my mom here in Orlando made it better. And so you'll kind of see the chandelier is beautiful. We have all the little bugs and stuff. It's one of our most popular scenes in this whole show, I would say.
Okay, so I'm going to jump in real quick because there's also important things for me personally when it comes to these things. So when you make artwork, you are also giving a part of yourself to the public to view. And what I've always wanted to do for my kids was provide them a fantasy place, a fairyland, a place where it would be like Princess and the Frog, Princess and the Frog, that's funny, Princess and the Frog. And so when it came an opportunity for us to take a chandelier and some foliage and a gazebo and turn it into something gorgeous, but also give it that allure of fancifulness and childlike wonder, it was everything I wanted to do because I wanted to do that with my kids. It's been a real honor to get to build these with my children.
So at the other side of our garden area, we actually have our bee scene. Now we've had many variations of our bee scene throughout the years of our attraction, but this one here is probably my personal favorite because I love the neon, the greens, the color tones all mixed together. It really works well. Over here we have our lilies and their glitter wall. And for us, this was like a representation of water and the area of water, mixing our lilies that we've created here. Um, and I would say it's one of my personal favorites. A lot of people like to use it, and specifically the glitter wall, because come on, it's glitter. Look at this. You can go over here just like, woo, glitter. Who doesn't love glitter? No, but so that's one of our really popular scenes. And then over here is Mercedes. So my sister Mercedes, you guys see her vlogs in Colorado right now. She has her own art studio, and she actually has multiple paintings here that she used digital art forms to create. This one is called The Nature of Yin and Yang. And you can see there's a variety of things. Our original design was to mix technology and future kind of stuff and mix it with nature. And so this is what she came up with, and I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really cool because she represents the sky and the land with the ocean and the sea. And that is really cool balance of nature.
It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So then we're going to kind of come through here, and there is an actual thing that we programmed into lighting. So when you go into darker atmospheres, the best way to do that is to actually use red light. And so one of the things we did when we programmed our lighting techniques here was when we were transitioning into a darker scene, which you'll see around the corner, our thought was to use red lighting so that it was easier on your eyes. You weren't just going drastically into a dark room. So what you'll see here is our spider, unfortunately, is what we lit up red. Most people are scared of spiders, but they're wonderful, beautiful creatures, and red does fit kind of the vibe, I think, of a spider. But these are garden spiders. We modeled them off of real ones that we had in our backyard. And so they're line for line accurate to garden spiders. And we have two, as well as a little hidden fly in the corner here. Now, he's one of our favorite pieces, and if we had to save any of these pieces for long term, it would probably be the fly. Now, one of the coolest things about this scene though is this chair. We kind of consider it the eggs of Miss Spider here. So you get to be one of her babies if you sit in here. And it's one of the most comfortable chairs. We tend to come in here, and if we're doing office work when we're not open, we find ourselves sitting in this one. Um, but yeah, all of the spider webs are reclaimed, recycled yarn. And so we actually were able to attach it to the chair. And so it literally is like this dramatic scene all around you. So it's pretty cool. The first time we put it together in Denver, we were all like, what? So yeah, we had to do it again here. Now, as we move into this area, it's a little dark on camera, but I'll do my best to describe what it is so that you guys can see it and she can go through the panning of everything. But this is our mushroom abandoned cabin. Now, our story has been developing. We've kind of been mentioning our story a lot. This scene's kind of been evolving. In Denver, Colorado, we had an artist friend of ours named James Homeyard. He came in and actually created each one of the hand painted and hand crafted mushrooms that you see there that are glowing rainbow, and took a concept that we had, which was like this sunken ship, abandoned something that was reclaimed by nature, and affixed it to what we had at the time was a Forever 21's old dressing room. And it worked for a while, but it was kind of a weird, random thing to do in Denver, Colorado. A lot of people liked it, some people didn't. Um, but it was fun. Well, over time, one of the things he also created was this Forever 21 sculpture mannequin, reclaimed into this beautiful piece that kind of shows the beauty of um, being reclaimed by nature in a really crazy way. And we were looking at that for our story. And as we were developing that, we were like, what would this do in our story? How do we apply it? Why would this be here? And we've actually found this cabin in particular is one of the most important pieces of our story. And it was written out for us before we even knew what we were writing. So I'll tell you guys more about that here in a few minutes. But this firefly zone and this cabin is one of the most important pieces to our puzzle, and a lot of people might glim through it and skim through it because they don't quite understand, and it's a little dark. But that's partly how we as artists grow, is we learn and evolve, and this scene in specifics is one of the best representations of evolving in art. So, and then here we have Mercedes' secondary piece. She has a total of three. This one is a neon butterfly with a neon flower, and I think she did a good job. Okay, so after our hidden cabin, our abandoned cabin, we're going to come in here to the human element. Now, our firm belief is that everything should begin and end with humanity because it is our responsibility to take care of the planet, but it's also our responsibility to take care of each other. And so here we're going to kind of talk and touch on that in our fun little playful way. And so this was our way of symbolizing humanity as astronauts and viewers that go through the galaxy. This has kind of been the representation of humanity throughout our whole show and in our future story, which I'm excited to tell you guys about. So this is our astronaut, our wonderful artist friend who worked for us back in 2023, named Samantha. She did this for us, and she did a wonderful job.
Yeah, the graffiti art is actually really cool, and it's something that is modern and yet old. And I love
Yes.
that.
And then over here, we kind of call this our Las Vegas showgirl. It is one of our sculpted butterflies that we have a bunch of these in storage still, but this is the only one left here currently. And the reason we call her Vegas showgirl is because she's got all the feather boas. And then this quote here, so originally our attraction had a slightly different layout. So this would be like the first quote you would see to enter our human element. But it is the beauty of creation doesn't exist without a viewer to see it. And our mindset behind this quote was that it's again tying back the human element to creation and how beautiful both of those things working together are. So, some of the things that are beautiful about having a family business is that we get to actually implement things that are personal. And for us, this sign here, Kisses Are Invitable, is very personal. This is a saying that my great grandfather on my dad's side actually said to my sister and I quite often during his later stages in life, and is one of the quotes that's kind of stuck with us since then. So, it's beautiful. It's a fun little nod to my great grandfather, and it's fun because it also talks about the love and beauty of humanity.
And the funny thing is, people always read it, kisses are inevitable, but it's definitely,
We're
they
not
are
Thanos.
invitable.
We are inviting you to kiss.
Right.
We've actually had a couple people get engaged in front of this sign, and another one we have coming up soon. All right, so after our neon sign, we kind of enter further into our human element here, and this is our big poof chair. Now, again, we have a lot more personal nods here in this specific area due to the fact that it is the human element. We want people to feel loved on. And one of the greatest people in our lives that made us feel like we were loved was my great grandmother on my mother's side. And she always had in her house this big poofy poof chair. And she would put all of her grandkids in it, myself included, and we would watch movies and eat cookies out of her jar and just be loved and cuddled and loved on all over. And so we had to implement that here. And our wonderful friend Samantha, who also painted this spray paint scene, was like, hey, what if we put rugs on the wall? We're like, why don't we? So this scene just came together as an accumulation of why don't we just give you a big hug? And so that's what this scene is our great grandmother and all of us as a team coming together to just give you a big warm hug if you need it. So
Yeah, so we've definitely got the kisses here and the hugs there. We call it the kisses and hug zone.
Yes. This is Mercedes' final piece here in the attraction. It's called Phone Home. And it's basically two goldfish and an old phone, which is pretty cool. And it's one of my favorite pieces for sure.
Yeah, I really love it. It reminds me of a lot of the 1980s artwork, and I think that that's a really cool style that she does.
For sure.
Yeah.
So then before we kind of finish off over here, we're actually going to take you around the corner to a hidden scene. It is our 70s inspired love area. It's got a peacock chair. It's got the vibes. It's got all the greenery. And you know what the best part is this is one of the newer scenes in our entire show. So myself and a couple of our amazing team members, Keisha, Abigail, and I think Natasha and a couple others, all came together to kind of create this scene. We were given a bunch of the tools and just free reign. So we went off and we had a great time. We have bamboo, we have greenery, we have the love sign, we have little stuff over there. So this scene really became like a multi-dimensional scene, and we just had a great time pulling it together.
So I really like this scene because it reminds me of the 1970s and 1960s LP records that my husband likes to collect. He has quite a few collections of them with the peacock chair on them.
I bumped into you. So then this neon sign is kind of special for my mom and my dad. And, I don't know. You want to tell the story or you want me to tell the story?
I can tell the story if you'd like.
Why don't you tell the story?
All right, so I actually designed this neon sign as a surprise for my amazing husband. I love him so very much, and he lights up my life forever. And so I went in actually in front of him to a design studio, one of our artist friends who has the machines that are required to make these kinds of things, and designed this piece just to honor him and what he's been in my life. And what was fun was it was delivered, and he had to install it in its initial application in Denver. And he didn't know it was for him until we were in the middle of a news interview, and I got to mention that this was for him. But yeah, this is a special nod, and it's really kind of fun to watch other people make memories in front of it because it is a special statement. But for me personally, it's for my husband, and I love him so much.
Yes, I love that.
So this is our affirmation wall. And this is our living art piece. So all of our art pieces will change and evolve, combine and separate and do different things over time. Some may show up for a short period of time and actually get destroyed and no longer exist. So it's important to see it when it's available. And then this is one of those examples, a living art piece. And the living art piece allows you to have other people to participate. And so we've asked people as the viewers of our space to come and leave thoughts that are forward thoughts for people to encourage them when they come to visit, to be a statement of encouragement, to be a statement of empowerment, just something that's good that leaves behind a good thing for someone else to come and speak about or read about in their lives. I just love how it's stacked and layered so it becomes almost like a singular color with multiple lines through it, but it actually is a living art piece. And some people have asked, are you going to paint over it? Are you going to take it with you? The answer is when this exhibit travels, this will be staying here. And the reality is because it's a living art piece, just like all life, you have a beginning and you have an end. So when this exhibit moves, this art piece will end and a new piece will have to start somewhere else. But right now it's alive and well, and every single one of these lines, drawings, signs, letters, all sorts of different things on here represent the different guests and visitors that have come through our space and been touched by it, to the point where we actually had to expand it over here to this other wall. And so now we've got some new ones coming in. They're pretty cool. And then we've added some new colors just to help give some more contrast so we can get more designs. But we've got ducks up there with sparkly things in their heads. Got all sorts of different characters, and a little fox that was drawn by a young boy came through, was really cool. Two different signs and stuff from different business owners and social media influencers. It's really been a neat thing and an honor to have a part of our exhibit.
Perfect.
So then the last piece, you want to do it?
No, you got it. I did a lot of it.
Got you. So the last piece over here is called I Am a Viewer. And this is the final piece. So as Maddie's explained, we've transported you through the starship. We've been following the viewer, we've been following Scout, which I mentioned in the lobby, and his footsteps. And actually, you can see the footsteps on the floor. We probably haven't done a very good job at showing you the footsteps throughout the whole space and the sparkle dust that comes with them. But this is the last scene when you go to leave the exhibit, and it says, I am a viewer. And it's you being the viewer of all this beautiful stuff and viewing yourself in a better way as well. And part of that is that we all entered as astronauts and we're leaving as transformed people. And when you transform, you leave your astronaut suit behind. So these are all the astronaut helmets. And each one has been filled with its own beautiful thing that's bloomed and blossomed within it during its journey coming from the atmosphere. So it is proof right here that you could be completely different from one person to the next, and singularly you're beautiful, but together you make a bouquet. And that is the reasoning and the thought process behind this art piece that I put together, was so that when you're leaving the space here, that you're leaving the way you thought before, and getting to leave with a transformed thought of who you see yourself to be in the world around you.
Love it. Good
Yeah.
job.
And of course, then, we have this wonderful end piece over here. This is where all the groups and different families like to get a photograph at the end so that they're able to take home a Better Together sign. I think it's pretty cute. I like it, but it is a really good spot to get photographs with your party if you're looking for a place to stand and get pictures. But my favorite is through the doors. My children have been begging their dad since, I don't know, 15 years ago to do something with his invention. And there's these fireflies up here in the ceiling area that are flickering on and off. And that is actually a technology that my husband invented a long time ago, that we have not deployed in many years. And so this was an opportunity for us to bring people back into the planet, landing you into the new way you think and seeing beauty differently, to see this beautiful place of these fireflies greeting you in this natural space. And then over here we have tucked around is this horse. And this horse here is actually kind of an homage to where we came from for Denver. It's a piece that kind of speaks about, the plains and the prairies where we came from, and the mountains. And even to a fact that there's, it kind of looks similar to an art piece that's in Denver as well. And we just like the fact that it looks like home a bit. And it's a nice way to say, hey, we came from Denver and we're here, we're doing something really cool.
So that was Earth Illuminated, and that's kind of our little behind the scenes tour of all the things that we've been doing for the last 4 or 5 years. And ultimately, we started this back in 2008. It was a long time coming, kind of pulling all this together. And when we officially did in 2021, we really took a leap of faith. And since then, it's been a roller coaster of ups and a roller coaster of downs. And, we've been trying to navigate what life's going to do with this attraction, this story. And since October of 2023, we've realized that there's actually a larger story here than just, a cute little attraction with fun walkthrough and backdrops and scenes. It's actually a story that's transformative. It's actually a story that's going to change the world. And, it's a sci-fi adventure, and it's a bunch of fun. And then we started putting characters, timelines, storylines, background, information. Yeah. Why are we here? Why are we doing this? Why does it look a certain way? And, those are things that we started putting together into a story. And as we wrote and wrote, we ended up reaching out to one of our old family friends that used to go to my grandpa's church that became my dad's friend, named Gabe Al-Taib. And he now owns a comic book company called Big Man Comics. And he was like, I really like your story, because we sent it over to him. We were like, what do you think? And he really liked it, to the point where he took it on. So we are actually working with him to produce a graphic novel. It's over 120 pages at this point.
Yep.
And it's going to be called Empyrean. And that's one of the coolest things is that Empyrean actually means the highest level of heaven. And so, without giving too much of the story away, but also at the same time giving it away, it is a story about humanity discovering what it's like to live and find a new Earth. But that new Earth is actually the original promised kingdom that we were promised in way long time ago. And it's relevant to today because it's got a powerful, badass, strong couple. I'm saying that is because that's how we wrote them.
Yeah.
You know, it's a power couple that's going in and saving the world. And they are a dynamic duo of healthy, level headed, amazing at what they do, great team effort, teamwork kind of a couple.
They're genuine superheroes. And the reason that you can call them superheroes is because of how they behave and how they function, their morals, their follow through, their dedication, you know, all of the things that make a superhero makes these people a superhero. And what's actually a really cool honor about it is my grandma and grandpa, Oliver Lee and Elvira, were my heroes, my superheroes when I was a kid. They just absolutely were my grandpa, I called him Superman. He had the right to be called that because he was a World War II veteran. He was a hero from war. He did all sorts of work in ways that built security and safety for our country and for our family. And so the cool part is that we took the names and said, you know, we need a really cool hero and he needs a name. And so the man is Oliver, and his wife happens to be Elvira. Now, my grandparents are very much so German from my culture, my background in Russian and things like that. But we got to twist it a little bit in the story and bring in different cultures, having Elvira be more Latino and having more of a flair in the way that they could behave. Because obviously when my grandparents were older and doing, for me, the right things, they were not in a place where they were physically capable of doing the amazing things that a superhero could do in a book. And so we're applying the character of who they were to what this story and these characters are. And that is cool.
And one of the cool things as a great-granddaughter to these two amazing individuals is I was able to grow up learning their stories, getting a chance to talk with them, and I got to know them all the way up till I think the most recent one passed away at 18 or 19 years old when I was 19. So I had a really good chance to just get to know them and understand them and who they were and what they stood for, because that's one of the things as patriotic Americans is we also stand for freedom, the right to have this freedom of speech. And, you know, there's some things that in modern storytelling we don't see. And because I grew up with those morals, those specific values that I cherish in my heart because of these people, I want to continue showing that to a public that I think will appreciate it. And in a story atmosphere, if you keep things super simple, like family dynamic, powerful, like anti whatever, you want to win, you have all these goals, and then you have an actual end goal that means something more than just a trophy or an award, then that to me is already a good story. Then you mix in what we're telling here, and it elevates it. And so for us, as we've been talking with our producer, Gabe Eve at this point is producing us, he's been explaining to us that it's literally a mixture of 1977 classic Star Wars mixed with Interstellar, combined into a healthy family environment, and you get Empyrean. That is what we're doing. And so for us, after we've given you the tour, you kind of have some behind the scenes information, you have some fun little things, your faces to put this to. But ultimately, this is who we are. We are telling transformative stories. We want to continue telling them. And whether it's in a physical location or what we're finding out, the graphic novel is completely transforming everything.
We could do VR. We could do all sorts of different. You may be seeing us in video games. You know.
Yeah, and so for us, this is only the beginning. You know, we hear a lot of times, you know, people can't believe that we're doing this, or that they don't understand why we're doing this. And to me, the why is because there isn't enough stories that have a hopeful, meaningful transformation to them.
Yeah.
That makes me self-reflect
Mm-hmm.
and actually determine how I want to move forward.
Right.
And I really, truly can see our family growing into a place with an amazing story.
So a cool part about the whole thing is that these superheroes that we are developing have their own robots. They have all sorts of cool different tutors and different villains and stuff like that. But our superheroes are like the good old-fashioned superheroes, like the original good old Superman kind of deal, where they are genuinely like out to fight the bad and to be the representation of the good.
They have the best intentions.
They have the best intentions and they're fully dedicated. So we've been on this journey to follow through what we feel like has been put on our heart to do, which is put this story out and put this exhibit together and have it where people can come and have a transformative experience.
So yeah, we have the graphic novel coming soon. We have the graphic novel coming soon. We will be sharing more information with you guys as it comes out. I know that our Earth Illuminated channel would appreciate having some follows on there because we have been challenged to hit a certain amount of subscribers and followers there on that platform.
It's a big number, but it's accomplishable if everybody who watches this shares this and asks those people that are getting to see it to follow, like, and subscribe all of our channels. That would super, super help our family more than anything, because we need to hit certain numbers to be able to prove to our publisher that we can get the word out.
And I mean, there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that we haven't gone into yet that we will definitely start talking about. And that'll help us kind of start growing the why. I mean, ultimately, that's our goal, is to tell you why we're doing things and encourage you to join us and participate and buy the book. So with all of that being said, thank you guys for watching our video about Earth Illuminated, our wonderful attraction here at Orlando, at the Point Orlando. If you decide to visit us, visit the link in bio at earthilluminated.com, buy some tickets. But if we're closed by that point and tens of years in the future and we're looking back on this going, holy cow, wow, where would we come from? This is where we came from. And so if you're here from 10 years in the future, hello, how are you? I hope the 10 years in the future we're trillionaires and having a good time.
That would be fun.
Yeah. And then I'm married.
Yeah. There you go.
Anyway.
Well, if you've made it this far in the video, I would ask you to just leave a comment below on what is your favorite superhero character and what are the aspects of that character that are your absolute favorite, why you like them.
Yeah.
And also, if you don't mind including just like certain things, like if you've seen the Earth Illuminated Empyrean information yet or not, and if you're interested in it, and we'll be able to post and get you some information on that.
Yeah, so we look forward to showing that and seeing that and getting to talk about it and have a good time and include more things. We have so much coming soon, and all the good, the bad, and the ugly, and we're going to have you guys here along with it. So make sure to like, subscribe. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.
Bye.